Welcome, City Schools teachers. Thank you. Thank you. You guys made it. It was a busy morning. I'm sure, I know it was for us, and I'm sure it was for you too trying to get here. So we appreciate you getting here, finding Poly Western, and hopping on the bus and getting here on time. Like I said, we really, really appreciate it. My name is Tina Getty. You might have noticed Jablinowski in some of the emails. I'm slowly transitioning over to my new married name, so they're both me, in case you're wondering. So my name is Tina Getty, and I'm the coordinator of New Teacher Support and Development, and we really couldn't be happier to have you here with us this week, getting an introduction to Baltimore City Schools, our district priorities, and what we do as a staff and a team to support our students to ensure that they're ready for college and career. I came to Baltimore about 13 years ago at this point, and it was the best decision that I ever made after college. I knew I wanted to be a teacher. I went to college to teach, and I also knew I wanted to teach in Baltimore City Schools. Both of my parents went through Chicago public schools as kids, and I distinctly remember their stories growing up, really specifically that they both really struggled in college to keep up with their more affluent peers who had access to better schools, whether it was private institutions or suburban districts. And so I lived with their stories growing up, and that really had a huge, strong impact on me when I chose my career and I chose to come to Baltimore City Schools. So for me, this is personal, and this is my passion, and I hope you'll have an opportunity to kind of articulate exactly why you're here working with our students and what's going to keep you here so that someday, you're here working with our new teachers 13, 14, 20 years later, like our staff. So like I said, I'm really, really, really excited to welcome you here today, and I hope you have a great week of learning with our facilitators. I also want to learn a little bit of something about you guys and who's in the room. So kind of give me a hand raise if you are from Baltimore. Woo! Yes! Look at that. What about Maryland? If you're from Maryland. Those of you who were Baltimore should also have your hands raised. Trick question in the morning, right? Just trying to see if you're awake with me. What about if you've taught in another district? Who's coming to us with some experience, some background? Oh, I love it. So please use your experiences in your sessions to kind of enrich the discussion, to push thinking, so that we are learning from you too in the room. What about if you've worked in a different field and you're like, you know what? Education's for me. I want to start teaching. Wow, awesome. You definitely want to hear more about your stories and how your industry and what you've learned in your industry impacts what you do in your classrooms with your students. And how many of you are first-year teachers like I was 13 years ago? Woo! All right, thank you for being here with us, and thank you for picking Baltimore City Schools. There are so many different experiences in the room, and like I said, I remember my NTSI experience 13 years ago, and the one thing I want you guys to leave out of here with today is to really build your network. Right? Like, go outside of your boundary, your comfort zone. Some of you already know people in the room, but really use this time to build your network. At my NTI experience, I knew absolutely no one coming to Baltimore City Schools, and there were so many people who kind of took me under their wing, shared documents and resources with me, and things that they've learned from whether it was like a summer institute or just what they knew about Baltimore with me, and really made me feel part of the Baltimore community. That's what we're doing here today. We're creating that community. The people that I met at my New Teacher Summer Institute, they were my future roommates. No joke, I really did live with one 2 years after going to NTI. They were my future vacation buddies. I even had one of the people who I met at Institute later became my bridesmaid in my wedding. So you never know who you're going to meet this week, and we really want you to build your network and meet new people because community is what's going to keep you working with our students for hopefully a very long time. Okay, so the first person I would like to welcome to the stage is Mayor Catherine Pugh, who's joining us today. She has been a public servant for more than 15 years before being elected mayor. She served in the Baltimore City Council representing the 4th District. Any 4th District people out there? Awesome. All right. And she was then in the House of Delegates of the Maryland General Assembly representing the 40th District. 40th out there? No? Okay, that's fine. That's fine, that's fine. And she also wrote some children's books, which I thought was pretty neat. So everyone, welcome again, Mayor Catherine Pugh.
Thank you so much. I can't be more excited to welcome all of you as new teachers in the Baltimore City Public Schools. I should also mention that I was the first African American majority leader of the Senate of Maryland. And while I've been a assistant professor at Morgan State University teaching marketing and communications and dean and director of Strayer Business College, I cannot tell you that teaching is such a rewarding experience. So, and I hope that you all will get that experience and more importantly feel that experience and feel great about being Baltimore City teachers. I also built the first brand new school in Baltimore City, the Baltimore Design School, fashion, architect, and design. Any teachers going to the Baltimore Design School? All right. I just believe that we are on the right track as it relates to education. We have brought back $1 billion to Baltimore City, and that's why I mentioned that I was in the Senate, because we led that effort to bring back $1 billion to Baltimore City to build new schools in our city. And hopefully you will see those new schools coming about. We've got about 3 or 4 currently in the making, with about 7 already on the drawing board, so I'm really excited about what we're doing. How many people travel from across this country? I did see a person from Vegas. How many people from out of Maryland? Thank you for choosing Baltimore. We hope you also choose to live in Baltimore City. That's important to us as well. Let me just say that in Baltimore City, we have some challenges, but that's partly why you all are here, because you are committed to bringing about the change that needs to take place among our young people. It's what we do for our young people at their earliest age that changes the trajectory of their lives. And oftentimes when you walk, especially in the elementary schools, you'll see the big smiles on the young people, so eager, wanting to learn, wanting to do the right thing, wanting to be excited about education, and somewhere along the line, that enthusiasm for some go away. And I don't know whether it is the environment that they live in or the environment of the city, but we have a responsibility to make sure that they get everything they need to be successful. We should not pass children along who can't read, who can't write, because we do them a disservice. One of the things that I did last week in my commitment to the future of our young people was to make Baltimore City Community College free. And while the critics out there don't believe that it is a great investment, I can tell you that it is. Because when I think about the number of children who may want to go to college, but think they don't even have a chance to go to college because they think it's too expensive. And so as a result, many of them choose to follow as opposed to leading. Some of them don't even think about going to college because they don't think they have a shot at it. But I can tell you, and this is our city, in our city, at least 44% of the young people in our school system could end up going to Baltimore City Community College for free anyway because of federal compliance, and they qualify for Pell Grants. But that other percentage, and this is the other thing that I need you all to do, is to track our children every day. Be concerned if a child doesn't show up in the classroom, because you don't know what's happening at home. And when they're not there, we want to know where they are. It's not just about 11 p.m. at night, do you know where your children are? We need to know where they are every single day. And so one of the things that I also did last week was to hire someone in my administration that would work with the school system to make sure we're tracking our children so that when they get to 12th grade, that they really do have a shot at success. And so in their 12th year, I'm requiring that all of our young people have a life plan. Where are you going when you walk out that door? And in February and March of every year, for our seniors, we will do a jobs fair, because we want to identify the children who are going to college. We want to identify the ones who are going to community college. We want to identify the ones who want to go to work, because every child doesn't want to go to college. But we want to be able to provide them with real opportunities. So I have a commitment from the business community to hire at least 500 to 1,000 young people, including our city and public entities, to hire them. We want our children to be successful, and we want to make it easier every year for you to come back and find productive young people. So there's a real commitment to making sure that we have after-school programs. Our libraries now have extended hours because we brought back additional dollars from Annapolis to make sure that we do that. Because many children don't have computers at home, but the libraries do. So let's make sure we give them your very best. I expect that you will, because I see the enthusiasm that exists in this room, and more importantly, the commitment. So thank you for your commitment to be teachers in the Baltimore City Public School System. I'm wishing you a great, great, great year. Thank you all.
Thank you, Mayor. I would next like to welcome Sister Sharon Slayer. Sister Sharon Slayer is the Dean of the School of Education here at Notre Dame University, which is also her alma mater. She received a Bachelor in Arts from Notre Dame in Chemistry and Pre-Med. She completed her Master's of Arts degree in Chemistry at Villanova University and her PhD in Educational Administration with the highest distinction from Boston College. So we're very excited to be on Notre Dame's campus this week. I feel very fancy to be here, and really we owe it to Sister Sharon Slayer for welcoming us for the last 3 years. So thank you.
Good morning, and welcome to Notre Dame of Maryland University and to Baltimore if you are new here. Education has never been a hotter topic or a more important issue than it is today. This is true globally, nationally, and locally. Teaching has never been more challenging or a more needed profession than today. The work of teachers has always mattered. You can probably think of examples of the difference a teacher has made in the lives of individuals. The work, your work as you begin this year, could not matter more. By your choice of profession, you are part of the solution as you work in your own areas to help children of this great city. Notre Dame of Maryland has a long and productive relationship with Baltimore City and Baltimore City Public Schools. Student teachers from Notre Dame have gained experience in city schools without a break since the 1940s. We are located in the city. We believe we should be working with the city schools. We have worked with city schools to provide in-service and professional development experiences throughout the years. Baltimore City teachers and administrators have become certified in a variety of areas through Notre Dame's programs and have enrolled in significant numbers in graduate degree programs, including the PhD in Instructional Leadership for Changing Populations. Notre Dame is the second largest provider of teachers in the state. Last year, we certified 426 teachers. We have 18 certification programs, 11 masters, 1 CASE program, and 2 PhD programs. We have had 17 Teacher of the County Teachers of the Year, 1 Maryland Teacher of the Year, and 1 National Art Special Ed Teacher of the Year. We know that the productive relationship between Baltimore City Schools and this university will continue. We know the difference education and strong teachers make to changing the world. May this week help you as you prepare for the coming year. Congratulations again on choosing teaching and teaching here in Baltimore. Your work has never been more essential. Blessings on your work this week and on your new year. Please let us know if we can help you in any way while you're here at Notre Dame, not only this week, but when you enroll in some of our many programs too. And welcome to Notre Dame, and again to your new year of teaching. Congratulations.
All right, next I'm very excited to welcome Jeremy Grant Skinner. He is our new Chief of Human Capital. He comes to us with more than 15 years of urban education experience, and he is a first-generation college student. Mr. Grant Skinner graduated from New York University and began his career as an elementary teacher with city schools in 2001. He worked at both cross-country and Falstaff Elementary Middle. Anyone going to those two schools in the room? Oh, okay, all right. Across the years, Mr. Grant Skinner has trained teachers, designed and led professional certification programs, and led the Human Capital Division for another urban district, where he launched a program to create new teacher leader roles focused on increasing student achievement and supporting new teachers. He is married to a teacher turned vice principal and has a 2-year-old son who usually is the youngest attendee of the PTO meetings at Mount Royal Elementary. We're really excited to welcome our new chief, Mr. Grant Skinner.
Good morning, everyone. So as Tina shared, I have a new job this month too. So I'm happy to be with you here today, and welcome again. I've been in this role now since August 1st, so this is the second full week. So I'm barely ahead of you here. But I can say, just from my first 2 weeks here, as well as my prior experience since 2001 with city schools, that you are joining a really great group of people with amazing talents, with deep commitment to students. And as you see here today, we also have some amazing partners, university partners, partners in government positions and beyond. And then you will learn more this week about the leadership and the vision of our district, which also is what inspired me to come back into this role. And I know that you will hear from our CEO, Dr. Santelices, this week. And please pay attention closely as she shares some really late-breaking things, so new ideas for our district as we move forward. So not only am I new to this role, but 16 years ago, I was in the same seat that you're in today when I became a teacher here myself. And if you do the math, because I was a first grade teacher, that means that the math works out that some of you who are here today becoming teachers are the same age as the first students I taught when I became a first grade teacher here. So was anybody in first grade in 2001, 2002? I knew this. What this means is that I feel an especially close bond to you because you are new as I am new, but also I see in many of you the very students that I had the privilege to teach here in Baltimore in my very first year in the role. So I will be following you and your careers and your contributions to city schools closely. So I know this week you are going to think a lot and talk a lot about your own educational stories. So I wanted to share a little bit about my educational story and what brought me to Baltimore City Schools. So I grew up in a small town in upstate New York.
Hey, which town? I had to.
A small town near Albany.
I'm from Portland, so.
Okay, not far. And I had the privilege there of gaining a very strong education that really prepared me for whatever was to come afterwards. And part of that was because I lived in an area where everyone went to the public schools, and therefore there was a lot of community and community investment in the schools. What that translated into was that when I graduated high school, I'm a math nerd a little bit, so I really liked math. And when I graduated high school, I had taken Algebra 1, Algebra 2, geometry, trigonometry, Calculus 1 and Calculus 2. So I had taken a lot of math courses. When I was in college, I learned that that was a very rare opportunity. And still today, actually, if you look around the country, if we look at high schools that have a majority of students who are students of color, a quarter of those schools don't even offer Algebra 2. It's not even an option. I learned of educational inequity by looking at statistics like that, and then when I was a tutor in college, and I said, I need to be a part of a group of people who want to change this, and that's what I found when I came to Baltimore City Schools. I'm also excited today to be here with you because I know that teachers are the most important factor that make a difference. In my own education, my second grade teacher introduced me to Harriet Tubman, and that sparked in me a commitment to equity that I only discovered much later. My fifth grade teacher told me what a valedictorian was, and that sparked a goal in me that I was able to achieve many years later. And then in high school, when my parents, who had no personal knowledge of college or financial aid, believed I should go to one of the local community colleges, where I now know the graduation rate is about 25%. It was my high school English teacher who said I could go anywhere. Then I came to Baltimore. I became one of those teachers, and I also encountered many other great teachers. One of my closest friends to this day is my mentor teacher from my first year. I know that you will learn about the mentoring opportunities in city schools today. And then I also met another teacher who means a lot to me. So Debbie, where's Debbie? Debbie, who got married on Friday. Oh, it wasn't Debbie, you didn't say that, I misheard it. Who got married on Friday? Oh, your dad, not Debbie. I didn't hear that right, but I knew someone got married. So 7 years ago today, I got married, and so I learned the story of my husband, who grew up in Baltimore, and he is one of 3 sons, and his 2 brothers became high school dropouts, and he may very well have been on the same path. And then he got into Baltimore School for the Arts, and while there, he became homeless as a high school student, and it was one of his teachers who took him into her home and became his godmother, and she represents to this day an example of an amazing teacher and the amazing things teachers can do, because she went above and beyond, but also because she was excellent in the classroom. I hope that all of you will commit yourselves to do both of those, to be excellent in the classroom and to go above and beyond. The last thing I want to say with you here today is a story that I heard from another superintendent who I worked with, and she shared this with our central office team as an encouragement for us to think outside the box, to consider new ways of doing things, and I want to share it with you today. In 2000, Reed Hastings, who is the CEO of Netflix, asked for a meeting with the CEO of Blockbuster Video. Does anyone remember Blockbuster? You might. So I remember Blockbuster. I used to go to Blockbuster on Boston Street, and then another one on 32nd Street. And as you know, they are no longer there. In 2000, Reed Hastings asked to meet with Blockbuster to share his idea, and Netflix was in its early days at that time. And there are different truths from that meeting, but his story is that he was laughed out of the building. And Now, Netflix, I think, is a larger organization than CBS, I just read, like the television station. So hugely successful. Probably all of you, or most of you in here, use Netflix, as I do. And Blockbuster, several years ago, went bankrupt. I think of this meeting as a great example of an opportunity to think about doing things differently, an opportunity to think about how to better serve your customer, in your case, your students. And in this case, it was a missed opportunity. So I encourage you, as you enter this new career, to consider always how you can evolve, how you can learn, how you can grow in ways that will help you to better serve your students. So thank you for being here, and I look forward to seeing and working with you all much more.